we have talked about while loops, and building on that we are going to talk about do while loops in this video. Now, because the while loop and do while loop are so similar, let's directly go over the syntax. The do while loop starts with the do keyword followed by the code block, and after that we have the while keyword and the two parentheses with a condition inside the parentheses. Just like the while loop, initialization of the control variable for the do while loop is done before the loop, and the increment or decrement step is done inside the code block. If the condition for the while loop returns true, then the code block will be executed again, and if the condition returns false, then the program will stop the loop execution and exit the loop. The do while loop is the same as the while loop in everything, except that it executes the code block at least once before the condition is checked. This is because the condition is specified at the end of the block rather than at the start of the block, like we have seen in other loops like for loop, for each loop, and while loop. Just something to keep in mind when coding a do while loop is that because the increment or decrement step is done inside the code block, it will be performed once even before the condition for the do while loop is checked for the first time. Now let's move on to the RPG analogy and think about a scenario where the player is controlling a ship and is trying to escape the enemy ships which are chasing and attacking him. So what we need to do now is use do while loop to recreate this scenario, where the enemy ships will shoot cannonballs at the player's ship and at random will hit or miss the ship. We will also be keeping a log of how many cannonballs hit the player's ship and how many missed the ship and fell into the ocean. If we hit the player, we will also debug.log the change in the player's HP. And when the player's HP turns 0, we will stop attacking the player and log the battle stats. That's it. So let's dive into the code and get this done. First of all, we will declare a boolean named _continue to attack and set it to true. Then declare an integer named _cannonballs hit and set it to 0. After that, declare another integer named _cannonballs missed and set it to 0. Next, we'll declare another integer named _player HP and set it to 100. With that done, now inside the start method, we'll create a do while loop with condition being _continue to attack equal to true, like this. Next, inside the code block, we'll declare an integer named random hit and set it to a random number between 0 and 2. Which means that its value will either be 0 or 1. After that, we'll create an if statement with the condition being random hit equal to 0, which means that the cannonball did not hit the player's ship. So inside the if's code block, we'll first increase _cannonballs missed by 1 and then debug.log where are you aiming at, sailor, like this. With that done, after the if block, we'll create an else if block with the condition being random hit equal to 1, which will mean that the cannonball hit the player's ship and inflicted damage. So inside the curly braces, we will first increase _cannonballs hit by 1. After that, we will reduce player's HP by 10 and then debug.log. Nice aim, sailor. Destroy that little ship. And also debug.log the player's recalculated HP, like HP plus _player HP. With that done, outside the curly braces, we'll create another if statement, but this time with the condition being underscore player HP equal to 0. If this returns true, then it means that the player's ship has been destroyed and the player has drowned. So inside the curly braces, first of all, set underscore continue to attack to false, which will stop the do while loop when the program checks the do while loop's condition the next time. After that, debug.log nice work sailor, that will teach these outlaws a lesson. And then debug.log the battle stats, that is how many cannonballs missed and hit the player's ship like this. And with that, the code is complete. Now let's go to Unity and check the logs. As you can see throughout the logs, we are randomly hitting and missing the player's ship. And when the player's HP turns 0, we are correctly logging the battle stats, that is how many cannonballs hit the player's ship and how many fell into the ocean. Now, same as the other loops, we can create a nested do while loop by encapsulating a do while loop into another do while loop. And as in the videos about while loops, I'm not going to cover it in this video as I've already shown it pretty extensively in the videos about for and for each loop. And there is nothing new to show about it. With that done, we have covered all the loops in C# and we can finally move on to a very important topic in the next video, which is methods, or as some of you might call it, functions. Well, that does it for today's video. If you like the content, I hope that you will subscribe to the channel. Do comment below if you have any doubts or if you just want to share your thoughts. And as always, if you see someone struggling down in the comment section, do try and help them. Goodbye for now. This is your host VP signing off.